Hey guys, Alex here with Momentum Charting. Today we are going to be doing just a quick dive, something a little bit different into the chart of SPRT, support.com. If you have not yet done so, make certain, go down below, hit the subscribe button. We're a small channel. YouTube doesn't give us a lot of views unless you're subscribed. It may not notify you unless you hit the bell notification button. Do both those things down below. Thank you so much, guys. Let's get into quick topic here I wanted to talk about today. So as most of you who follow me probably know, most of you have been subscribed to the channel for the last month or so are aware, most of my efforts are focused on the shorter term to mid-term moves of stocks. I believe there's plenty of money to be made just in those, and that time frame for me has allowed me to live a comfortable lifestyle just trading stocks in the last probably three and a half years. So that's basically the majority of where my focus is, the short-term, mid-term moves, just because I hate as a market participant to get caught up, to get involved in the rips to the downside, which happen when you get these big pullbacks in stocks. I don't like that happening in my portfolio, so I am more of a shorter-term time frame trader at heart, a bull at heart. So that's basically where the majority of my focus lies in the stock market. But what I wanted to show you today here, that my methodologies, guys, can also be used on a really short time frame, like day trading type stuff. And I don't do it a lot, I don't do it all the time, but from time to time there comes a chart where I think that it warrants some effort into some really short-term movements in a stock. And this is a stock that I did find a couple days ago. I'll show you guys basically what I was looking at and how I define my entries and exits. But the stock I saw was support.com, and here I am inside a 2-hour time frame chart. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to just say quickly about this, I'm really sorry, guys, that YouTube, I don't know how, I'm thinking of a way to do it at some point in the future, but that's not right now. But the channel just, it's too hard to focus on like really intraday moves on charts. YouTube is just not the best place for that, and that's really not where this channel's focused right now. So yeah, I apologize if I don't bring all these stocks that I'm looking at like on a day trading perspective to you guys right away. It's enough work as it is to just try to do the daily uploads on all the different charts I'm trying to focus on. But as you know, YouTube is not the best platform for really short-term momentum and movement type stuff, so that's not necessarily where the focus of this channel is. I just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention to show you that these methods can indeed be used for very short-term momentum moves in stocks that are gaining popularity, have a lot of volume showing up in them, etc., etc. So what I saw on this chart, guys, a couple days back, I set this midterm trend line, which I always like to do, on the 2-hour chart, and I saw it moving up nicely here. But then what I saw that really caught my attention was it appeared, because a lot of times, guys, markets are very dynamic in a way, and just because one trend line is set doesn't necessarily mean that in a strong stock, in a strong market, you don't need to reassess where that momentum trend line is at and put a new one in place that is potentially going to lead to an accelerated move to the upside, even from where it has been. And it happens all the time, guys. This is when you start getting those vertical type moves in markets. So what I started seeing here a couple days ago, I think I first caught this maybe sometime early in the morning yesterday, but what I saw was on this 2-hour trend that it appeared to be getting a sort of accelerated trend line here on a 2-hour time frame and pulling away from this already nice midterm trend line that was in effect. So I opened up my TOAN indicator, which I always like to do. I started the 4-hour. This to me was just a very powerful move on this 4-hour. Still looked to be accelerating to the upside. Then I like to pull down, look at other time frames. I look at the 2-hour. The 2-hour still looked to be very strong to me. So I said, okay, so let's look at the 1 hour, and then lastly I looked at the 20-minute. 1 hour, just still accelerating to the upside. Very strong, very powerful move here happening on SPRT. Then lastly I looked at the 20-minute, and that as well looked to be very, very strong. So I had all the major time frames on that velocity indicator, the TOAN indicator, pointed to the upside. So what I did was I saw that the 2-hour had an acceleration on this. So what I wanted to do was pull back and get the 10-minute trend line set. So I had two different trend lines set here on the 10-minute, and the first one that broke away from our main trend line I had set here, touch points here on August 23rd at around 9:10 in the morning, and then again August 23rd at 11:20. But what happened towards the end of the day yesterday, and in fact confirming today, was more of this even more vertical, almost a 45-degree trend, right, that was starting to appear in SPRT. So guys, I will definitely I'll say, if you are setting these types of continue accelerating trend lines in a day trading stock, you definitely you can have 4 or 5 of them, right, that can of varying degrees. You can have one set. Let me go down on that. And then you can have another that changes acceleration, and then another that changes acceleration. But when you get to usually that 4th or 5th acceleration of trend line, you will eventually find that the trend line will break to the downside, and that is when you definitely want to get out of the stock, guys, because these high acceleration stocks to the upside can definitely have equally hard pullbacks, okay, in even a shorter time period to the downside. So you want to be really, really careful. And when you are setting your trend lines in these stocks, you definitely, like I said, when you see a break in your highest velocity trend line, you want to get out of the stock. The trade is over. You need to wait for the dust to settle. You need to wait for everything to clear and see what happens as far as a reaccumulation of the stock, and start setting your new trend lines to see if it's going to have more upside movement to the upside. But usually what happens is when these trend lines break, you will eventually pull down to some of these magnetic trend lines. Like for here on SPRT, this one is the trend line that I have set here back from August. So probably what's going to happen eventually when this trend line breaks, this does in some way act as a magnet, this midterm moving trend line. So watch for a sideways consolidation back to that. But guys, in the meantime here on SPRT, what I'm going to be doing here is watching this 10-minute trend line very, very carefully. And always, I love to watch this too. You guys know my momentum indicator. Okay, this is one of my favorites. And it's really, really good on these short-term moves too. And this area right now where SPRT is operating from is an extremely strong area of potential continued momentum to the upside. So I'm going to be watching this very, very carefully. And let me show you guys this back here. This move back on SPRT. Yeah, back here. So let me open this chart up so you guys can see the price went from here around $4.56 to about $9.21, which represented a gain of about 103% over the period of about just 7 days. But what I wanted to show you guys here is that see this momentum right here in this time period where you had a 100% increase in price? It was operating in a positive zone. Yes, which you can see the 0 line here. It was operating in this nice zone, but it was maxing out here at around 1.47 to 0, somewhere in this, and just slightly dipped below 0 here. But this zone of momentum for SPRT was okay. It was really good historically on this chart, but it is nothing compared to what we are seeing right now. Let me show you again. This was the period between July 19th and July 30th, okay? And we were dipping just right down below 0 and topping out around 1.43. But guys, look what's happening right now on SPRT. Okay, we are playing right now in levels that we have never ever seen before in the stock on a short-term time frame. So you can see this last peaked out at 2.16, and early this morning, around 8:30, we peaked out at around 345. Okay, so guys, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to be watching this really closely. I've got my trend line set here. Okay, on SPRT, on the momentum. This is, again, I'm on Insider Trading View, 3-minute momentum indicator, and I'm going to be watching very, very closely. Guys, what do you think is going to happen? We've got all of these positive divergences happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially setting up for a 6th, right? Positive divergence in SPRT. Guys, what do you think is, look at the volume that's coming in on this thing. 43 million today, which is historically just enormous for this particular stock. But guys, what do you think is going to happen to the price of SPRT? We've still got these moving average, the 200 EMA, the 50 moving average, pushing up to the upside. This still looks like a nice setup here to me potentially, if we can get a momentum shift back to the upside. So what I'm going to be watching on this, again, guys, is this momentum to pull back. And it looks to me like possibly sometime today around 10 o'clock this morning. Now, if this thing indeed does fail, it's no big deal, right? It's no big deal. I'm not going to go back in the stock. I'm not re-entering the stock. If this thing fails below this trend line, so I've got the trend line set here at the last top again, which is around 2.20. If that happens, again, just wait for the dust to clear, wait to see what happens again. But there's a chance. There's a chance, guys. This momentum can come down here, roll down, and start pushing up strongly again to the upside. Especially, we're almost at 50 million on the volume today. I'm going to be looking for a 7th positive divergence here on this 3-minute momentum chart, and this thing to start pushing in a monster way back to the upside, which is going to have prices explode higher, past these all-time highs today, past 1464, and again, making sure that that momentum is pushing back to the upside when we are still within the bounds of what I was talking about earlier, this very important 10-minute trend line to the upside, right? So if this does break to the downside over here, all bets are off, guys. I'm going to be waiting for to see if this thing reaccumulates, gets some sort of consolidation move, perhaps comes back down to either this trend line here or maybe this longer midterm trend line that I showed you guys a couple times earlier. So going to be watching for this to potentially be coming down into these zones, bouncing off for another move to the upside. And again, the line in the sand is going to be my 10-minute trend line here on SPRT, as well as this very, very important momentum indicator, which I would like to see set up for another positive divergent bottom, pushing prices in SPRT back to the upside in a big way later today and possibly as well as tomorrow. So continuing to watch SPRT, just the momentum right now on a short-term look on this chart is fantastic. Potential day trades setting up, potential big moves to the upside, huge volume coming in. So I'm going to continue to watch this chart. I'll probably do an update again on SPRT maybe sometime tomorrow to kind of see where we're at on this. But guys, I hope you kind of enjoyed that different take, just showing you that, you know, my technical analysis isn't a one-trick pony just with longer-term and mid-term moves. But from time to time, you can catch these interesting trends on shorter-term time frames that allow for nice day trades and short-term gains on these charts and on these stocks as well. Guys, if you enjoyed the content, which I hope you did, go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. You are not going to want to miss any updates on SPRT, broad markets, all your favorite charts, all your favorite stocks, only here at Momentum Trading. Thank you for subscribing. I will see everybody again shortly in the next update. Bye for now.